What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all ages, and with the Titan Souls hard mode, Sergeant Drew. Gotta put on truth mode so I can see the names of the bosses. That's right. Your boy beat Titan Souls on hard mode earlier. Your boy is playing some Titan Souls again. It's been like a year or something. So we're back, and this time we're black. So as anybody who has watched my previous Titan Souls videos knows, the only commentary I make is on the gameplay. See, look, this X button, that means roll. You hold down the X button, means you run. You know, that tutorial, it's not the most immersive. It's kind of disrupts my immersion, but yeah. You know, that reminds me of a story. So this one time, I'm eating at Papa Ravioli's, and Papa Ravioli's has the has this really good ravioli recipe, and I'm eating some ravioli from Papa Ravioli's, and I see Papa Ravioli, and I ask him, hey, Papa Ravioli, how do you get Papa Ravioli's Papa Ravioli to taste so good? And Papa Ravioli's looks at me and he says, kid, you think I'm gonna tell you that? That's a trade secret. And I was like, hey man, if you don't tell me what the secret is, and that's all I said. I just stopped talking. It kind of looked at me funny, so I left. So later, I did some Google searching about Papa Ravioli's Papa Ravioli, and I didn't find the answer. I was kind of disappointed by this. So I go back to Papa Ravioli's, and I find Papa Ravioli again. And I put a gun against his head, and I say, listen up, bitch. If you don't tell me the secret of Papa Ravioli's Papa Ravioli, I'm gonna pop a cap in you. And he's like, please, no, please spare me, I have children. And I say, I don't care. Just tell me how you make Papa Ravioli's Papa Ravioli. He looks at me and he says, okay. This is how we do it. We put 2 raviolis into 1 ravioli. Now if you think about that, if you have 2 ravioli inside of 1 ravioli, what that really means is you have 3 raviolis total. And if you have 3 raviolis in 1 ravioli, when you think about that, that really means you got 4 raviolis right there in 1 ravioli. Now, if you got 4 ravioli in one ravioli, what that really means is you got 5 ravioli. And he just kept kind of doing that. I think he got up to like 27 or something like that, and I cut him off. I was like, look, man, I will spare you if you show me how you do it. So he takes me into the back room. He's like, alright, this is how we do it. And he takes 1 ravioli, and he puts it in another ravioli. And that's literally all he does. I was like, wow, that's kind of intuitive. So, I go home, I'm like, man, okay, I gotta make something kind of like Papa Ravioli's Papa Ravioli. So I sit there and I ponder. I ponder good and long. Really long and really good. And I think, you know what I could do? Is I could start my own franchise. Papa Pepperoni's Papa Pepperoni. And Papa Pepperoni's Papa Pepperoni was born. The way it works, you see, is you take 1 pepperoni and you put it in another pepperoni. That really means you got 2 pepperonis. And 2 pepperonis and 1 pepperoni means you got 3 pepperoni. Now if you got 3 pepperoni and 1 pepper, that means you got 4 pepperoni. Like that goes all the way to infinity, by the way. There's actually no stop to that. So I start my place, Papa Pepperoni's, where I sell Papa Pepperoni. And about 4 weeks later, I get a lawsuit from Papa Ravioli, who says that I ripped him off. And I say, no, I did not rip you off, because you make ravioli, and I make pepperoni. Two completely different companies. And he looks at me with hate in his eyes. And I'm like, okay, what you gonna do about it? 2 weeks later, a man comes into my restaurant and he tells me, listen, what's the secret to Papa Pepperoni's Papa Pepperoni? And I say, well, listen, if I told you that, it wouldn't be a secret. So he takes out a Glock and he puts it up against my head and he says, listen, dude, you better tell me. And I was like, no, not gonna tell you. And he's like, you know what, that's fair. I probably wouldn't have told me either. And we just went our separate ways. Another few weeks later, I hear about this new restaurant in town, Papa Rigatoni's. So if you're keeping track, we now have Papa Ravioli, Papa Rigatoni, and Papa Pepperoni. Now, as I'm reading the local news, I read about this, and I go over, and there's the guy that asked me how I made Papa Pepperoni's Papa Pepperoni, and I see him, and he's talking to Papa Rigatoni, and Papa Rigatoni, I hear him say, well, then that wouldn't be a secret, would it? And I hear a gun click, and I think, oh my God, he's gonna kill Papa Rigatoni. And I come around the corner, and I'm about to save Papa Rigatoni, and then this guy, he just kind of looks at me with the gun, and he points the gun at me and he says, Papa Pepperonis, we meet again. And this time, this time I'm gonna kill you. And he takes the Glock, points it at my face, and says, Papa Pepperoni, kiss your Papa Pepperoni goodbye. And as his finger is pulling the trigger, Papa Rigatoni takes out his Papa Rigatoni gun and blasts this dude in the back of the head. And I'm like, dude, Papa Rigatoni, you just saved my life. And he says, that's what any Papa would do for any other Papa. And I have a newfound respect for Papa Rigatoni. Now, as I'm going home, I realize something. I realize that the way that Papa Rigatoni treated me is the opposite of the way that I treated Papa Ravioli. And I'm just sitting there pondering this for a little while. Like this. And I think to myself, you know, maybe I, Papa Pepperoni, should start treating my fellow Papas with greater respect. So, I'm at my house, and it's a few weeks later, and I hear about Papa Cannoli. Papa Cannoli is now making Papa Cannoli's. So I decide to go over there, and I talked to Papa Cannoli for a while, and I make pretty good friends with him. And then Papa Ravioli shows up, and he is mad. He still thinks I stole his idea. And he comes up to me and he says, Papa Pepperoni, what you did to me is unacceptable. And he takes his Papa Ravioli gun and he aims it at me. And he says, give me one good reason not to pop you full of Papa Raviolis. And I look at him in the eye, and I say, "'Cause if you shoot me with your Papa Ravioli gun, you aren't gonna like what happens next." So he looks at me, and this is like a Wild West style shootout, except he already has his gun out and I don't. And meanwhile, Papa Cannoli is watching this, mystified. And as the battle is about to erupt, a stranger comes inside the room. And he looks and he says, "Whoa, what the hell is happening here?" And we just kind of look at him, we look at each other, and Papa Ravioli shoots me in the back of the head with his Papa Ravioli gun. So I turn around and I say to Papa Ravioli, "You son of a bitch." And I take out my Papa Pepperoni bazooka and I just point it at him, right? And Papa Cannoli's like, "Wait, we need to be peaceful with each other." And now Papa Rigatoni has shown up. He came in after the stranger and he's like, "Wait, we need to be peaceful with each other." And Papa Cannoli and Papa Rigatoni are spectating as I'm just aiming my rocket propelled Papa's Pepperoni at Papa Ravioli. Now, you're probably thinking, this is an intense climax. How is our intrepid hero and protagonist, Sergeant Jew, aka Papa Pepperoni, going to get himself out of this situation? Well, let me tell you. Papa Pepperoni does not shoot his Papa Pepperoni rocket propelled Papa Pepperoni. Instead, he lowers it, because now he recognizes the stranger. It's the same man that asked him and Papa Rigatoni how to make their Papa's recipes. So Sergeant Jew aims it at this stranger. He says, "Fellow Papas, this man, and this man alone, is the reason we stand here at conflict with each other today. I compel you, or impel you, whichever word means suggest that you take this course of action. Take out your Papa weapons and fire them on this man." So I've got my Papa Pepperoni's rocket-propelled Papa Pepperoni. Papa Ravioli has his Papa Ravioli gun. Papa Rigatoni takes out a Papa Rigatoni AR-15. And finally, Papa Cannoli takes out a Papa Cannoli grenade launcher. And we all turn them on this man. And he looks at us, and he is scared. And he says, "Please, I only did it because I needed the money to feed my daughter." And I look him square in the eye, and I say, "Crime is not the answer to your problems." Now in the background, Cage the Elephant's "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked" starts playing. You know, it's like, "There ain't no rest for the wicked." And we just kind of all take aim at this man. And I look him in the eyes and I say, "Also, I rolled a perception check. And I know you lied about your daughter." And I take my Papa Pepperoni's rocket-propelled Papa Pepperoni and I shoot him in the face, just like this.